I've put my health on the back burner for now. How can I get back on track in January? I don't know about you, but I've heard a lot of that recently. A lot. And I think putting your health on the back burner, like, that's not the best thing to do. And I understand, you know, time of the year, you know, we're getting towards Christmas. There's probably only really like a week left of what you might class as dieting, you know, before the Quality Street kind of come out. But, you know, putting your health on the back burner is not helping anyone around you. And most of the people I've spoke to are like mums or people with families and stuff that are kind of relying on them. And I've read a quote out on my story before. I can't remember it word for word, but it was saying like, you know, how you live your life every day now is going to result in, you know, you being ill one day, you know. And it's like, when you're ill, like, it's hard to kind of remember how you felt when you felt good. Whereas now you're doing the things that are going to determine whether you get ill later on in life.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, I mean, this goes into like the whole situation we've been in, like because people were so restricted last year and everything that's been going on. And because that, like, you're given an inch, so you take a mile. So everyone is kind of just going like, oh my God, this is going to be like the best Christmas ever and the best time ever. And it's been so hard and da 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 da. But I think we've all been on this slippery slope for a long time now, for the last 2 years, of kind of like just not caring. Like, a lot of people have stopped moving as much, gained weight, just generally struggling. And like, I think this Christmas is like the culmination of that, of everyone just kind of going, oh, great, you know, it's been like this for 2 years. What does another 2 weeks matter? And there's so much nice stuff out there. And so I might as well just keep going. And then on January, because reality is in January and from next year, I think people are thinking, well, you know, life's going to be not normal, but we're kind of stuck with this now. This is your life. Just get over it. It's not going to go away completely. And so they're kind of going like, I probably like need to like sort this mess out, really. But yeah, whatever you do now is going to be reflected in your future self. So you can be kind to your future self, or you can screw your future self.
And I think it's like, you know, you can use like a money analogy, you know, getting yourself more in debt to then work harder to then pay your debt back. You know, it's the same with like eating loads of food and not getting your steps in and missing your workouts. You know, you just kind of setting yourself even further back than really you should be. And like the question said, how can you get back on track in January? And I mean, just start small. You know, there's no need to kind of like, I was talking to a client, she came on board about 10 days ago. So I said, obviously over December, we're just going to get the basics in place. And a check-in today, I was like, steps, food. I had a look at MyFitnessPal. I was like, make these amendments and maybe we'll introduce some workouts this week just at home. I said, but if you don't worry, you've already lost weight. Like, she's lost like 2 kilos already in 10 days. And it's like, just do the basics, just kind of start ticking them boxes. And then when we hit January, then you can kind of start kicking it up a notch. And I think that's the thing in January, people go from 0 to 100 and then fail by payday and go, oh, it's payday, let's get a takeaway, let's get this. Because obviously most people run out of money for January. And I think rather than going from 0 to 100 in January, go from 0 to 10 now. You know, just start looking at what your steps are. Just start monitoring how much water you're drinking. Monitor how much sleep you're getting. You know, it doesn't have to be like crazy amounts of things. It can just be like small little things as you go through. And it's just a case of just do one. Then the week after, maybe add another. Maybe refine those 2 for a couple of weeks. You know, just start really small.
It goes through to everything, doesn't it? That goes through back into the self-care we just spoke about, through to everything. Instead of having that all or nothing mentality, is just have little bite-sized amounts that, you know, don't give you like acid reflux in 2 seconds time. But also I think in January, a lot of people detox and they sort of say, oh, I'm gonna give up alcohol, and some people give up meat, and it's like, okay, But when February hits, they actually go back to the old habits because they've taken it away completely.
Yeah.
And yes, in theory, broken the cycle, but not for long enough. It's never long enough just doing it that month. And there's so many I know get to like 5 days before the end of January and they're like, oh, well, I'm nearly there. So I'm fine. And they go straight back, exactly back to how they were before. But they've justified it because they've done 3 weeks of behaving or of like doing that like sober January, whatever it is.
Yeah, like a lot of people seem to go sober in January as though like, like people give up things for Lent. It's as though like January is the new Lent or something, and like you say, it's like, oh, I'm going to give up chocolate for January. I'm not going to snack. I'm not going to have any alcohol. Like Veganuary is getting bigger and bigger, like every year, and people are going vegan because it's a fad and a craze for January. And it's like, you don't understand what implications a vegan diet will have on you and from a nutritional standpoint, because if you don't understand nutrition and what foods to pair together, you could end up deficient in things, and it doesn't mean it's any healthier. Because I've been looking at a lot of vegan food recently and I'm like, wow, how many calories? It's like nearly double the amount of calories sometimes because of what you're taking out.
Yeah, and I say the exact same thing to people that even if they're going vegan, and they'll come to me and say, how do I go plant-based? I'm like, well, you start really small. So you're just going to swap out your milk and don't have any cheese. Then you might have 2 days a week where you're meat free. Because I promise you, if you try and do that, for whatever reason, you're going to do it, but whatever. If you're going to do it, you will fail in about 10 days time because you haven't thought it through and you haven't got used to it, and it takes a lot of work to begin with. Like it really, really, really does. Because I phased out red meat, then I phased out fish, and then eventually phased out chicken and turkey, and I phased out dairy sort of like well before that. And that probably took me about a year to fully get to that place.
Because you get in habits and routines with food. Like recently I found out I was lactose intolerant, and I'm like, oh, I want this food. I'm like, oh, can't have it now. I want this. Oh, can't have it. And you're constantly having to relearn. And mine's just dairy. And I already had soya milk. Changing to a different butter didn't really make much of a difference because I don't have loads of it on anything and it tastes the same to me. I'm not like a butter connoisseur. So the milk was already done. The butter didn't really make a difference. For me, it's mainly just the cheese, which I didn't have a lot of, but then dairy and milk in specifically is in everything. And I'm just like, for God's sake, things that you don't really think of. So for someone to then want to go vegan and go the full, everything, it's just one extreme to the other. And it's like, if you want to do it because you want to test yourself to see if you can do it, great, but doing it for just January, there's just no point in that. Okay, so if anyone's got any questions,
as a vegan, I completely actually agree. I would much rather people explore their diet and 2 days a week say we're going to have meat-free dinner. I'd rather you do that all year round than attempt to go vegan for January.
Yeah, because that's not solving anyone's problems, is it? It's not solving any problems of anything.